Tiny Thief is in my top 10 favorite video games of all time. Not only is the game super charming, but the puzzles in it are just really good. The game has 6 chapters: a rumbling stomach, a corrupt sheriff, the cursed treasure, the world rescue, Rattling Bones, and Bewitched. But which one of these 6 chapters is the best, and which one is the worst? Here is every single world in Tiny Thief ranked. So at the bottom spot we have the cursed treasure. Not only have I absolutely never liked this world, but there's only 2 good levels in it. One good level and one somewhat of a good level. The only good level is your treasure map, which it's just good, that's all I gotta say. And Red Parrot Tavern, which has a gimmick that it just drags on. If you want to get all 3 stars on this level, good lord, this level takes way too much time to complete. The other 3 levels are either way too easy in the case of the Wandering Fear and Meet the Tribe, or extremely unfun like the final level. While it is extremely memorable, it's really unfun. Now, my main problem with the Cursed Treasure is that every single chapter, aside this one in Tiny Thief, sticks to a theme. What do I mean by that? The final 3 obviously stick to one theme of the royal family. In the Royal Rescue, you save the king from being, well, killed by the weird, like, horn guy. In Rattling Bones, at the end of the Royal Rescue, the horn guy kidnaps the princess, and then you're supposed to continue the story on in Rattling Bones where you save her. In Bewitched, you already saved the princess, so the witch kidnaps the king again. All of these 3 chapters are linked together. From the end of one to the start of the other. They are linked. And you could say the same about Rumbling Stomach and Corrupt Sheriff, because those somewhat take place in like the same like medieval place that the castle is set in from Royal Rescue, Rattling Bones, and Bewitched. But the Cursed Treasure just takes a detour from everything else and just like focuses on pirates, which it's not tied to anything else in the game, which really makes me not like it at all. Like, just the simple fact that it's so radically different from every single other chapter in the game makes it just seem out of place. And if the level design was good, this would probably rank as among the best because of its uniqueness. But it's not. The level design is not good either. I really don't like the Cursed Treasure. I have nothing else to say. At number 5 we have a Rumbling Stomach. Now honestly, I have nothing much to say about Rumbling Stomach. It loses a lot of its like lead because of it being a tutorial world and it being way too basic and way too easy. But my god, it is such a good tutorial world. It teaches you the game so well that it goes above the Cursed Treasure. That's all I gotta say for Rumbling Stomach. It's just a good tutorial world. At number 4 we have A Corrupt Sheriff. Honestly, I really like A Corrupt Sheriff. Everything hinges around this one guy being just a dick to everyone he's around and being in charge of everything. I absolutely adore that every single level in this chapter is actually tied to one thing. It's the first chapter that started all of this, because every single chapter after A Corrupt Sheriff focused on one single thing. Royal Rescue, on the royal family. Rattling Bones, on saving the princess. Bewitched, on saving the king. Even the Cursed Treasure, all focused around pirates. A Corrupt Sheriff was the first to set this trend, and it did a really good job doing it. Every single level in this world is just a treat to play. It's just the right difficulty. It's not way too difficult, like for something like Bewitched, but it's also not too easy for something like a Rumbling Stomach. A Corrupt Sheriff is just good, but it's not hard because of how amazing the other 3 chapters are to this game. That's all I gotta say for A Corrupt Sheriff. It's just good. Next. This is gonna be the ranking that will surprise most of you. Bewitched is number 3. With how much I praised A Corrupt Sheriff earlier, Bewitched being above it automatically means it's really good, but it's got one thing that's holding it back from being number 2 or potentially even number 1. It's the difficulty spike. The difficulty spike from something like the 3rd level of Rattling Bones, which I'm too lazy to frickin' remember its name, to Trick or Treat is gigantic, dude. And let's not forget that two of the hardest levels in the entire game, a bad student and the magic bazaar, which in my opinion is the hardest level in the entire game, reside here. Now yes, I do understand it's the final chapter of the game, but the whole game up until this point was relatively simple. Even Rattling Bones, which once was the finale, wasn't really that bad. This is preposterously difficult. But that's the only thing holding it back. It's an exceptional world, just held back by the immense difficulty. At number 2, I have the Royal Rescue. Honestly, a really good world, but there's one thing holding it back from being the true perfect world. And that is the weird difficulty. Friendship in Bloom is the hardest level in the game up until this point. Like, up until Friendship in Bloom, it's the hardest level. Then the Royal Perfume is surprisingly really easy. I don't understand why. It just is. And then I love the Curse Hat. The Curse Hat is one of my favorite levels in the game just based on its mechanisms. It's so good. Then a Dark that is relatively difficult if you're going for 100%. And then Castle Under Siege is again surprisingly easy. But that's really the only thing holding it back from being number 1. It's just the weird difficulty. That's it. Nothing else to say. It's a Royal Rescue. Can't complain. You can probably tell what number 1 is by now. It's Rattling Bones. It has the same exact level quality that Royal Rescue had, but without the weird difficulty issue. And my god, that finale, dude. Eye of the Tentacle is among my favorite finales to any game ever. It is so intense, and the way you actually defeat the boss is amazing. And don't even get me started on the ending cutscene. It is just so good and so epic on so many different levels. Rattling Bones, kudos. You got number 1 without even competing with anything. Good job. Anyways, that's it for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it because I worked hard on it. If you did, leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more content.